Alright, what am I gonna play today? Pilot Wings? Nope. Pilot Wings? No. Pilot Wings? Hey, you're not Pilot Wings! Whoa, what's this? It's time to revisit you, old friend. Now you're reviewing with power! Modern games, retro games, what's the difference? I'm here to review games, and make a complete fool out of myself in the process. Whether a gem or a turd, I'll show you these games inside and out. You ready? Balrog's Nintendo Game Room. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of BNGR, where I distinguish good and bad games like, well, dogs and cats. I'll get more views for putting that, right? So anyway, since Pokemon Black and White 2 are coming out in less than a month, I thought I'd revisit one of the first games I ever reviewed. The originals. Now if any of you actually had the guts to watch that video, you can tell I wasn't really a big fan of the game. I really appreciated the changes that the game tried to make, but I felt that there were too many steps back that I actually gave the game a C. So today, I'm not going to tell you to agree with me or anything, but I'm just going to give my 2 cents on what I think about the game. And maybe, just maybe, someone will tell me that I'm not crazy. Ain't that right, Wario? Why can't you be real? So before I start anything, I'd like to talk about this game's development. You see, after Diamond and Pearl released, Game Freak wanted to make another generation on DS, but at the same time feel distinguishable enough from those two games. And well, all the other games too, since tons of fans complain by now that the series went stale. What resulted was a complete reimagining of the franchise, cleverly named Pokemon Black and White. But the development of these games went a lot differently than the others. There were only a handful of people working on this game, while everyone else in Game Freak worked on Platinum or Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And while this happened, the team made some pretty radical changes to the formula, such as spending a year and a half on the story, basing the region off the United States, and working with Nintendo of America to make new Pokemon. So let's go over the story here. You're once again a boy or a girl trying to become a Pokemon trainer with the assistance of Professor Juniper. The first professor, that's a chick. See? Game's already winning points with me. The first thing you'll do is choose your Pokemon and fight your 2 rivals in your room, which are also your childhood friends. You heard me right, 2. The first one, Bianca, is a flighty dumb blonde who seems to do something stupid at every turn, and the other one, Sharon, is an overly intellectual jerk who just wants to be a smartass every 5 seconds. Now even though these characters are really cliché, and they can get a bit annoying at times, it's really cool how Game Freak really tried to flesh them out. Even at the beginning of the game, you see Bianca struggle with her father about going on a journey, and you see Sharon's parents worrying about him. Oh, and your mom has to be the sweetest woman alive, cleaning that unholy mess that's your room. Woo! Really makes me shudder just thinking about it. So long story short, you 3 go on an adventure, meet some antisocial pokey kid named N, beat a bunch of Pokemon rights activists who dress like Amish people, and train to be the champion, yada yada yada. It's the same tried and true formula with many cool twists along the way. And for a while, those activists named Team Plasma actually made me feel bad about being a trainer. What if all we're doing is using monsters to fight and beat each other up against their will? And then I thought, these fights are just too fun for me to even care. Does that make me a bad person? So anyway, on to the review? Now first up is fun. Now don't get me wrong here, this game was still quite fun to play. Not only was the fun original concept here, battling, collecting, trading and all that, a lot of things fans complained about have been fixed. The battles move a lot faster, the story is fresh and much improved, and the game has nothing but all new radically different Pokemon. And between you and me, I actually really love these new Pokemon. Yeah, people complain saying, oh well I'm fighting chandeliers and ice cream and that thing. But personally, I thought the Pokemon were very creative, and their unique types and stats were really fun to play with. Now don't take that the wrong way. Not to mention there's new triple and rotation battles, crazy new moves, and musicals. That's right, you can dress up your Pokemon and make them dance. Well, at least most of them, freaking Doug Trio. But unfortunately, for every step forward, the game took way too many steps back. And now, it's time for my 3-part rant about how this game really messed up. Wow, that's awkward. Problem number 1. Changes in Platinum and Heart Gold and Soul Silver have been completely scrapped. No following Pokemon, no easy to use touchscreen menu, no game corner, no Safari Zone, no Poketech, no freaking Battle Frontier. Are you kidding me? Instead, we have the Battle Subway, which didn't even come close to the variety and fun those areas had. Problem number 2, the game turned way too linear. Instead of giving you a world to explore, the story comes first now and only gives you a bit to work with at a time. Every time you enter a new area, you kinda get a little space to work with that feels way too restrained. Not to mention the first 2 gyms or so were almost boring in level design. And don't give me the, oh, they're just trying to get you settled in speech. In Red and Blue, by the second badge, you've already tackled Viridian Forest and Mount Moon. In Gold and Silver, you've already gotten through Union Cave and a Tower of Bellsprout Masters. In Black and White, you have the puny little Dream Yard and a near inaccessible cave. In my honest opinion, this game's beginning is an insult to Pokemon games. But luckily, after that, the level design does get unique, and quite incredible to see, especially since the game is putting you on a pretty tight leash. And to be honest, nothing's really wowed me in a Pokemon game as much as Castelia City did. Oh god. And number 3 is the post-game content. After you beat the champion, or well, not really, but I don't want to give it away, the game turns into a pretty bad mess. First of all, the wild Pokemon in the new areas are way too freaking strong. So your first gamer instinct is to rebattle the Elite Four to get stronger, right? Well, when you go back, they're all level 70 or higher. Therefore, you're stuck in a level grinding hell, since there's no Versus Seeker either, another thing I don't know why they took out, and you can either fight stupid wild Pokemon for experience, or catch these wild beasts and deem your original team useless. This is just a stupid design choice. But despite these glaring, and I mean glaring faults, the good still really outweighs the bad here. I just needed to get that off my chest. Check. Next up is looks, and well, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about the overworld, it looks absolutely fantastic. The 3D models look great, each city has a distinct and charming look to it, and I definitely prefer the taller looking sprites. But the battle screen, oh god, it looks horrible. Yeah, Pokemon move and all that, but your sprite looks almost disgusting. Seriously, it's like they took inspiration from Red and Blue on these things. Not to mention the background looks like they took a JPEG, put it in Microsoft Paint, shrunk it, and then enlarged it again. But in my honest opinion, both sides of the game balance each other out. Check. And third up is sound. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite soundtracks in a Pokemon game. Every town has its own theme, the battle music is extremely catchy, and the Elite Four theme will forever be my inspirational music for hard homework. And even though Pokemon cries are still being used, I enjoyed it too much to give a shelmet. Oh wow, I really just said that. Check plus, I'm gonna go over here and go into my corner. And fourth up is length. Now this game lasts about your standard fare for a Pokemon game, about 40 hours. Yeah, the post-game content is a pain unless you've level grinded a lot, but you can still catch them all, go to the Battle Subway, and use the Sea Gear to battle and trade with your friends, local or online. But unfortunately, the Sea Gear's functionality is held back by not being able to use sleep mode, which will destroy your battery in about 3 hours, kind of defeating its purpose after seeing what Street Pass can do. Check. In conclusion, Pokemon Black and White is exactly what the franchise needed. It takes almost all of the conventions of the past 4 generations and puts a nice fresh twist on them. But even though this is a new beast to conquer, it also felt very unrefined and bare. Way too many features were missing or done counterproductively, the battles look rough and messy, and the game ended up being a bit too easy. But this game is still loads of fun nonetheless. Just don't expect to replay this quest like the other games, since it's more about story, and you're bound to have a decent time. To me, the best way to compare Pokemon games are with my pairs of shoes. Now my old shoes represent Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, as in I've been wearing these shoes for a while and it's the same formula every time, but these still fit great and feel like, well, an old shoe. However, my new shoes represent Pokemon Black and White, as in I'm not really fitting into them that well yet, and well, I think I stepped in some poop with them, so gotta wash my hands. Oh god. But hopefully, after a couple wears, Game Freak will definitely get it right with Pokemon Black and White too. So I'm gonna give this game a check and a good. I need a new marker. Alright, well that concludes my review. As usual, be sure to click that like button right about here and the subscribe button right about there to get more videos from me and show your support. So next time, I'll be reviewing whatever you guys want me to review, so be sure to write in the comments about what you want me to do next week. Also, people wondering about Ruby and Sapphire 101, I'm working on it. The script is completely done, I just haven't had time to record because it's a big project and I'm in school right now. So you guys can stop commenting on my other videos and sending me messages and raving me with chat because I'm working on it. So anyway, it'll also be the last Pokemon 101 I'll be doing because I want to open Nintendo 101 for other series like Star Fox and Zelda. Zelda actually is first, just saying. But, you know, it'll be a lot of fun and I'll review the rest of the Pokemon games in BNGR. So, you guys will get everything. Cool, right? So anyway, you can click those annotations right there for my other videos and click my Facebook and Twitter, you know, you can follow me and like my stuff and see my everyday life and making videos and stuff. Thanks. Balrog signing out. Wow, I almost forgot to say that. Say that in every video. So, yeah, you're not clicking it, are you? You're not gonna watch my stuff? Fine. I quit! I'm done! I quit!